Welcome back to the Hood News Fantasy Football Podcast. This is the Week 16 Waiver Wire episode. I got my dog with me here, BBTB.
Yep. Hopefully all in the semifinals.
Yeah, we'll see about all that. But I'm your host, Keem, and MFB could not make it today. He is stuck in what we like to call a blender. So unable to join, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll see him on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and jump into QB. I know some of you guys had Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he got you to the playoffs, but if you did and you're still in the playoffs, you're going to need a QB. I don't know if Mahomes is going to play this week. Carson Wentz, probably not the best option. Who knows? But Aaron Rodgers, rostered in 35% of leagues. Not a bad pickup. Did his thing. And we talked about this last week when we talked about the Jets being completely eliminated from playoff contention.
Mm-hmm.
They went out there and just had fun, just played, Aaron Rodgers connected with Devontae Adams a lot, and, they just kind of did their thing. So we kind of called that out, and it happened.
Yeah, literally, Aaron Rodgers is just trying to, I think he's still trying to play. He's trying to prove everyone that he still could play. I feel like he's still trying to be the quarterback next year. So if this man's trying to prove something to like the New York Jets fan base, he's going to just try to ball out. So if you're willing to take that risk in the semifinals somehow, take the risk, man. If you have Patrick Mahomes, or like I know Justin Herbert is hurt with his ankle injury. If you had Brock Purdy somehow, don't play Brock Purdy. You could probably start Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, best case, let's say you pick him up, you don't play him. At least you have that option.
Yeah.
If you have a low waiver priority, maybe you can waste it on a QB, but there's definitely better waiver options coming up. But Aaron Rodgers might be a streamable option this week. We know he played Jacksonville. QBs usually go off against Jacksonville, so this may have just been a Jacksonville game. It was his best fantasy performance of the season. We will see if he can do it again against the Rams. Let's hope you're not in the fantasy semifinals banking on Aaron Rodgers going back in time and pulling something out of his hat. Next on the list, we got Mac Jones, who has actually not looked too bad in the last few games. Him and Brian Thomas have been connecting very well, actually. And only rostered in 3% of leagues? Yeah. So very available. We're just throwing the names out there, guys. We're not telling you, pick this guy up, starter, must start. This is just, if you need it, these are the options that are probably more available and the better option. Out there.
Just stash them, pretty much.
I mean, hopefully, take him if you need him. Like we said before, these last 3 weeks, there's no buys, so you probably don't need it. But like we said, you have Mahomes, even Purdy didn't look too good last week, and I think one of the Niners players just quit on the team in the middle of the game. So that team's kind of falling apart. They're crumbling this season. Debo looks pedestrian. That team is just not, I don't know. Hopefully they can bounce back. But either way, if you're dealing with quarterback issues, Mac Jones playing against Vegas Raiders did pretty well. So he may be a streamable option.
Yeah.
That's it for QBs. Let's go ahead and jump into wide receivers. We're going to try and go through some of these quickly because, hopefully you're not banking on any of these guys in your fantasy finals, but there will be some names to keep an eye out for in the next section. But at the top, Romeo Doubs, who scored 2 touchdowns this week and is probably available. I think he missed a few weeks and came back this week. So now that he's back, he missed 2 weeks against Seattle. He scored 2 touchdowns on 5 targets, 3 receptions. It looked good, did solid. And they play the Saints next week, who have actually been a pretty solid defense. But Doubs could be a plug-in, like a flex play this upcoming week.
Yeah, and I feel like if you had so sorry to you fantasy owners, but if you're still in the semifinals and you had Amari Cooper, not play Amari Cooper. I had Amari Cooper, and luckily I still won my my quarterfinal. So I would look.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. I'd probably look for a better option, and I personally think Romeo Dobbs is just going to fit better than Amari Cooper. Yeah, sure, Amari Cooper could have his game, but he's not been good ever since he's been on the Bills. He's had maybe one, maybe two games. He's been solid, and everything else has just been not so good. So I take Romeo Dobbs. So like that.
Yeah. I agree. Dobbs can be a solid start on a high-powered offense that's still trying to win more and more games.
Yeah.
The division's not entirely out of hand. I think they still. I don't think they can get to the top. They're like two or three games behind,
but they're still playoff contention for sure.
Yeah. Like seeding and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So they're still going to keep playing. They're still going to keep balling. So Romeo Dobbs, solid option. Next on the list,
they're currently the 6th seed. Oh, my fault. But they're currently 6th seed.
6th seed. Okay, yeah. They're trying to work their way up there. Mm-hmm. Next on the list, Jalen McMillan, the rookie over in Tampa, who Baker Mayfield has seemed to find a groove with. He scored a touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns last week, scored a touchdown this week against the Chargers, 5 receptions, 75 yards, only rostered in 9% of leagues. Has looked good the last 2 weeks. So we're hoping he can keep it up. Kind of stepped in since Godwin got injured. Didn't really do much, after Godwin got injured, but the last 2 weeks has really stepped up for this team.
Yeah, personally, I think it's like Mike Evans paving the way, taking away some targets, even though Mike Evans is still a dog. He had a crazy game last week. I honestly was not expecting the Bucs to drop 40 points on that Chargers defense.
Oh, yeah, no. I didn't see that coming.
Chargers is a great defense, personally, probably top 5, top 7 in the league, which is solid. So next week they verse a Dallas defense that's kind of they did decent last week, but it was against Carolina. So Dallas defense isn't the best, but if you need Jalen McMillan at the flex or just a receiver you don't feel comfortable with, probably go with him too.
Yeah, he's looking to be stepping up, and who knows? I mean, like BBTB mentioned, if you have Amari Cooper, you don't have the confidence to play Amari Cooper. You could lean on one of these guys. Riskier. I mean, honestly, with the way Amari Cooper's been playing, he's risky too. Josh Allen throws the ball everywhere. And it's just you don't feel comfortable starting Amari Cooper. I get it. You could big brain it and start one of these guys, and hopefully it wins you your week. I will not advise you to do so. If you ask me directly, I may not answer your question. But yeah. Last on the list, just a name to throw out there, Jalen Coker, who he had like an 83-yard touchdown catch last week. It wasn't an 83-yard catch, but you catch and run for 83 yards, touchdown. We talked about Bryce Young looking better. The Dallas defense was firing on all cylinders. They couldn't really get anything going, but Coker with 4 receptions, 110 yards and a touchdown. I would definitely not be playing this guy in my fantasy finals or semifinals, but, dude, look, you don't get any of these first 2 guys. You get this guy, right? You don't play him obviously, cause you're like, dude, what the hell? Why would I? And let's say he has another great stat line and you're like, okay, maybe he can do it in the finals. And maybe another, you have another player on your team that either gets injured or you do have Amari Cooper and you trust Amari Cooper this week and he gets you another goose egg, or he gets you 3 fantasy points and you're like, all right, I'm going to just take this guy's upside. Let's hope you're not depending on a Panthers wide receiver in your fantasy playoffs. But the name is there. If you have the, strength to play one of these guys or to play a receiver from the Panthers, by all means, have at it.
So with Jalen Coker too, he could be a good play, by the way, in the semifinals if you're in a 14-man league, 16-man league, because you're playing a bigger bracket, And also, I was about to say that Xavier Legette is doubtful. He got hurt that game, so Jalen Coker is stepping up. So right now it's Adam Thielen, Coker, and I forgot the other guy.
I know who you're talking about. I know the look. I've seen his image. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But what you call it? Coker's there. Legette went down. He what was his name? Sorry, Coker will hopefully fill in his spot, so he could.
I mean, it seems like he did in this game. So hopefully he can do it again. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, yeah. Join the Discord, guys. Ask us questions. Hey, should I start this person or that person? We'll give you our best insight. We can be wrong at the end of the day. We have been wrong, clearly, if you listen to the Starts and Sits episodes. We've been wrong, but we discuss. We don't make calls and then say, this is final. You must do this. And we all are in agreement. There's always like BBTB will say something. I'll have something to say about it. Mm-hmm. Or MFB will say something. BBTB will say something about it. Or I'll say something. And then both these guys will say, nah, you're tripping. But that's up to you to make the decision. Ultimately, trust your gut and hopefully it wins you a chip.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the running back pickups, which these could end up helping you win your fantasy chip. Some important names here at the top: Jerome Ford, rostered in 43% of leagues. Nick Chubb broke his ankle, I believe, out for the season. His foot, yeah, out for the season. Regardless, very sad, man. There's a lot of hype behind Nick Chubb coming back. Unfortunately, it was stopped short with injury. Lots of injuries this season, man. Really, really unfortunate. Really sucky. But anyways, rostered in 43% of leagues. Is Jerome Ford someone you would use your number one waiver claim on if you need a running back?
100%. The reason why is because they play Cincinnati next week. Cincinnati defense is absolutely horrible. I think Tyjae Spears had his best career game again.
Yeah, he tore him up.
Exactly. And that Tennessee offense is whatever. Like, it's just the defense is that bad in Cincinnati. So Jerome Ford, Jameis Winston, Kimo's been saying it like pretty much majority of the season.
He got benched.
He did because
he got benched. If they put DTR in there, then who knows what's going to happen. So,
but Cincinnati defense, I don't see Winston doing 3 picks.
If you had Nick Chubb and he went down, you should pick up Jerome Ford just to have him. Even if you're not going to play him, just put him on your bench. You need him, and you might be a better matchup against Cincy versus like if you have another player that has a tough matchup. Mm-hmm. Let's say you were an idiot like me and you drafted Javonte. You're not using Javonte, bro. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust him in any matchup anymore. That backfield's crazy. But anyways, Jerome Ford, worst case scenario, just pick him up and he's on your bench and he can't hurt you if he's on your team.
Because you could also, let's say if your opponent needs a running back, you could block your opponent too. That also can help you win your semifinal.
Exactly. Like I said, he can't hurt you if he's on your team. He can't do any damage against you. So he scored a touchdown. Huh?
It can help you.
Yeah. If he's on your bench, he can't hurt you. Yeah. He scored, he had 84 yards on 7 rush attempts, and a touchdown against Kansas City, the best rush defense in the league.
Yeah, it was I watched it. It was like a 60-something yard touchdown. It was just a breakout run, and he just got loose. So
he has that ability though, and we've seen it last year. So he can do it, man. And
especially against that Cincinnati defense. So honestly, I'd be looking to play. I'd flex him, like over Amari.
Yeah, reach out to us. Some of you guys that are in the Discord have really crazy teams, so we're not telling you to start them over anyone, but there's other players you can definitely start them over.
Let us know.
Please reach out to us, guys. We'll give you the best knowledge that we can, and we'll give you at least the best info. Anyways, next on the list, Kendre Miller, rostered in 11% of leagues. Kamara walked off the field at the end of the game, not before the game ended. It was I think third quarter when he walked off.
No, fourth quarter.
It was fourth quarter. Okay. He had himself a decent fantasy game. He caught a nice lofting pass in the corner. Yeah, that was nice. But yeah, it made up. Hopefully if you had Kamara, he got you what you needed. Dealing with a groin strain or it's an adductor injury is what they're calling it. Mm-hmm. Either way, Kendre Miller is the next man up. They don't really care about Jamal Williams. They're not using him. They trust Kendre Miller. I would pick him up. I'd be scared to start Kendre Miller. He's just always getting injured. And so if he just runs out there and tweaks his hamstring again, his hamstring is made out of wet noodle. So I just wouldn't want to trust it. But pick him up. He's worth a pickup, especially if you have Kamara, just to have someone else as a backup.
Yeah, if Kamara doesn't play, I feel like Kendre can be a solid play. Like, I wouldn't it's Jerome Ford first over Kendre, by the way. Just
of 100%. Course. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is Kendre Miller, if you somehow need a RB, like you had Javonte Williams, you had McCormick.
Kamara. What if Kamara doesn't play?
Yeah, if Kamara doesn't play. Exactly.
Then you just slot him in?
Yeah, I feel like
possibly.
What you call it? You could slot him in, and he should do decent for you. It's just you got to pray that Spencer Rattler pushes the ball down the field. That's it.
He will not be doing any pushing, but yeah, it's definitely a step down from Kamara.
Hey, did you watch that last drive at the end of the game?
Oh, where they scored Tud, dude, and then they went for 2. It was nice.
Went for 2, bro. I liked
that call. Honestly, they lost the game, but I like the call. They should have gone for 2. I don't like. Maybe the play wasn't a good play.
The
good call was still good.
Mm-hmm. Good call. What I would do, I would just ran it with Kendra.
Oh, really?
I would have ran it.
I thought they would have stuffed
you guys. We have 2 fire tight ends that are big. What's his name?
Juwan Johnson and
Michael Mayer.
No, that's the Raiders. You're thinking of
Foster Moreau.
Dude, Foster Moreau. That's him.
Yeah, Foster Moreau.
Either way, that Washington defense was really trying not to lose that game, so it might have been tough. Either way, Kendra Miller, pick him up, especially if you had Kamara, just back up. But next on the list, I put this name in here. I don't know if it's worth a pickup at all, but Craig Reynolds, Montgomery went out for the season with an MCL. He's not playing the rest of the season. Just so you guys are aware, Craig Reynolds, he's the next man up after Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. Craig Reynolds did not get a single carry after Monty went out. So I don't know if they're going to use him. I don't know if they're going to use anyone else. I don't know if it's just entirely Gibbs. Going forward, it beats me. But yeah, Craig Reynolds, I just threw the name out there. Just keep an eye out on him. Maybe they use him, maybe they don't. Maybe worth a stash.
I was just about to say, like, as a Jahmyr Gibbs owner, me and Kimo, we're a Jahmyr Gibbs owner. So we're probably picking him up just in case if he goes down in the semifinals and we somehow win and then we need him for the finals, you know? So,
yeah, it'd be good to stash him, like have the backup. Because with any, it goes without saying, we've said it through the year, when you have the number 1 RB, you got to have the insurance back.
100%.
With the Lions, the insurance back was Montgomery, and you couldn't pick him up off the waivers. He was, they were doing the ground and pound double team. So like he was getting a lot, and he was going, like, you know, everyone had him already rostered. But Craig Reynolds rostered in 0% of leagues. Insure your running back, pick him up. Next on the list, Ty Johnson, who got in the end zone this week, again in that crazy wild shootout. But Ty Johnson he's like just a desperation play, and you just hope he gets in the end zone. Actually, he didn't get in the end zone. Sorry, apologize. He got in the end zone last week. He had 114 yards though through the air. I mean, but yeah, he seems to be the pass catching back. They played New England and the Jets the next 2 weeks. If you're desperate, he might just be a desperation play. Only rostered in 2% of leagues, so just worth a stash. Yeah, just in case.
So you know, Ty Johnson's technically the 4th RB. Why? Because Josh Allen is the number 1 RB. That man is playing lights out. If you drafted him in the 3rd round, he is MVP.
He got engaged, and now he's going for the MVP, and he's doing everything he possibly can.
So many people hating on him. It's actually crazy.
I played him last week to get kicked out of playoffs. Then I played him this week in another league to get kicked out of the playoffs again.
Yeah.
Screw Josh Allen. And we played him in our league. Me and you played against Josh Allen.
We did, but we dubbed.
And we won. Because I told you. As I told you. We had Devontae Adams in that league. And you got mad at me after week 1. You were like, why draft Devontae Adams? Blah, blah, blah. This is that, bro.
Just letting you know, the scenario was drafting Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams. I wanted Cooper Kupp. He got Devontae Adams. We went with his pick, and it panned out. From the draft to now, it finally paid out. Because it was looking like it was not going to pay out for us. And this week, it paid out fast. Hats off.
Crazy. To organize these guys, it's Jerome Ford, Kendra Miller, and then the last 2 are toss-up. Look, that's pretty much it. The first 2 you can use a waiver claim on. The last 2, not worth it, really.
Yeah.
Let's move on to tight ends. At the top, we have Brenton Strange, who stepped up with Evan Ingram on IR. So not playing anymore. Him and Mac Jones is playing solid football. He's, probably trying to play for, maybe he wants a starting role somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he can go to Vegas since they don't have anyone there.
He could.
But, he did decent. Brenton Strange was, one of the better tight ends this week. He ended up with 11 catches on 12 targets, 73 yards, and they play Vegas next week, which is not been very good against tight ends. So he may be worth a stream, like especially if you have like Kyle Pitts.
You have this damn Kelsey, bruh. I got frustrated last week, man.
Yeah, man. Travis Kelsey is he did not step up this week at all.
Oh, but Gray, man, it's no Gray.
You're not gonna play Brenton Strange if you have Kelsey. Bro, that's the problem.
I'm gonna pull some crazy move right now.
Okay, all right, we'll see. But yeah, Brenton Strange stepping up big with no Evan Ingram. Mac Jones likes him, and they play Vegas next week. And Vegas is trying as hard as possible to lose. And I think, to be quite frank, I think both teams are trying to lose and get lower seeding.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see which team can lose harder. That's going to be the least exciting game next week, for sure.
The team, the Jacksonville game?
Jacksonville Raiders, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Both teams trying to lose, like lose out. And
Raiders still go hard, though, dude. Like the fans and,
But, I respect it. It can't be as bad as the Giants, right?
Yeah.
But, that's all I have to say about the Brenton Strange. But anyways, on to the next on the list, Chiga Okonkwo, who I called out because he had a very nice schedule, like end of season schedule. He had, I think it was 12 targets in that game.
And he was
Let me double check. 10 targets, sorry.
10 targets, almost 10 fantasy points.
8 receptions for 59 yards. In a PPR, you're happy with that, man.
Oh,
it's been his best or most targets all season. And they play the Colts and then Jacksonville the next 2 weeks. So if you don't get Brenton Strange and you need a tight end for some reason, you don't have one, or you just don't trust your tight end, you have, Zach Ertz, who got injured, or Kyle Pitts, then you might have to stream Chiga Okonkwo. And if that's who you're depending on in the playoffs to win you your week, I'm sorry.
Good luck.
Yeah, a lot of luck to you.
Man.
Last but not least, we have Stone Smart. By the way, Smart is spelled with 2 T's. He's the backup tight end behind Will Dissly in Los Angeles. But if Herbert is out and if Will Dissly is back, then Smart is not worth picking up. But he had 6 targets, 5 receptions, 50 yards. He did have a fumble, but don't look at Stone Smart unless Will Dissly is out. Then he's like a desperation play.
Yeah,
player.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not starting Stone Smart.
No, yeah, his name is there. We're just giving you guys the names, and we're explaining who they are and what they, what team they're on and all that. But Brenton Strange is the one on the top. Everyone else, Chiga Okonkwo is like a good luck. Stone Smart is like, I don't know. You're in a 16-man league. But that does it for the tight ends. Let's move into the defense. Couple really good defense, honestly. Green Bay versus the Saints. I'm putting them in here because they're only rostered in 50% of leagues. So half the leagues out there, they're available. We'll be honest, they're probably not available in your league. Sorry. But if they are for some reason, people in your league are just not aware, pick them up. Green Bay against the Saints. That Saints offense is not going to be moving. No Kamara potentially. So it's going to be really good for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Falcons against the Giants. The Giants are trying so hard to lose desperately to the point that they're literally starting Tommy DeVito instead of Drew Lock intentionally because he gives them the better chance of losing. These guys are down. They were down by 28 points and they still kept running Tommy DeVito out there. It was frustrating to watch as a Neighbors owner, I'll be honest. But Atlanta should tear them apart. They're not trying to win the game. They will.
The spread right before the game got up to 19. 19. minus 17.5 for
Did
the
they cover the
Baltimore
spread?
Ravens to win. Huh?
Did they cover that spread?
They covered it. Baltimore Ravens covered the spread. They won by 21.
Kelly, bro.
You
That's a crazy one.
Crazy that is.
They look that bad. The Giants actually look
the Neighbors
that bad.
Looks like a dog, though, man. I'll tell you that.
Neighbors looks good, bro. He makes some nice catches. Just so you guys are aware, Atlanta's probably rostered in your league because they played against Vegas this week. They had 20 fantasy points, depending on your format. But they're rostered in 37%, so they're still out there in some leagues. Pick them up, play them.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the list, Cincinnati Bengals versus the Browns, especially if the Browns start DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
I hope they don't.
Yeah, honestly,
I hope they don't.
you need. Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals would be a good defense to start. They played pretty well against Tennessee this week.
Mm-hmm.
Roster in 39% of leagues, so somewhat available. Last but not least is the Colts defense playing against Tennessee, who Tennessee gave up almost a fumble 6 and a pick 6 to the Cincinnati defense, which is not that good. So Colts defense, they had 3 picks on Bo Nix this week, so they're playing pretty solid defense out there. And they might be up against Mason Rudolph this upcoming week. So, available in 4 out of 5 leagues. So, should be.
Yeah, you guys are kind of hoping that Houston loses next week as a. Sorry, the reason why I'm saying Houston's because they're in the same division as the Colts, and so if Houston doesn't play, or sorry, if Houston wins, then the Houston players might not play Week 17. So you guys are kind of rooting for the Colts defense to go crazy. So if y'all trying to play the Colts defense, they should try to win.
I think they're going to step up because they're playing against the team that gives up the most fantasy points to any other team defense, and that's the Tennessee Titans. They have just Will Levis he's like the white Jameis Winston, just throwing it, slinging it. Like I'm straight up. There's no other way to
put it though.
And then he gets injured from time to time. They throw in Mason Rudolph, and I would only be worried about Tyjae Spears, who looked really good this last week. But still, Cincinnati Bengals defense, who's not been good, scored like 20 fantasy points this week or 19 fantasy points.
We need the Chargers to keep losing, so the Bengals can still play Week 17 at least as fantasy owners. Because I'm a Jamar Chase owner. So I'm banking on a Chargers loss this week and a Bengals win. If that happens, it's a guaranteed Week 17 everyone's playing because they still got a shot in the playoffs. But if the Chargers win and the Bengals somehow lose, they're obviously out. We do not want that as a fantasy owner. Like, because Chase Brown owners, Higgins owners, Burrow owners.
Yeah, they'll shut those guys down for sure. Pay attention, guys. We'll keep you guys all posted through these weeks, so that if you have Jamar Chase, we can give you you can have that scary decision to make. Do you sit him? Do you not? What are they going to do with him?
Yeah.
Hopefully, if they're out of playoffs, the Bengals will just make up an excuse, and then Jamar Chase will say, "Oh, his ankle is bothering him," and then he's out for the game and just doesn't play.
Because remember, guys, he wants his contract. He wants his contract. They didn't give him his contract this year. He's not playing without he's playing with his previous contract. So
right. Yeah. But that's it for the defenses. Do you want to rank them in order of what you want most versus last?
Literally the order that we called it. I really like Green Bay versus Saints, even though my Saints, but it's okay. I like I'll probably go Cincinnati versus the Browns second, Atlanta third, Colts fourth.
No, I like Green Bay, Green Bay, Atlanta, Colts, then Cincinnati's last. Cincinnati defense looks terrible, and I think Jerome Ford's going to tear him up.
Not bad.
But yeah, that any of these are going to be great options. So whoever you can get them, play them.
Yep.
Next on the list is kickers. So let's talk about the first option is Chase McLaughlin, rostered in 49% of leagues. Pretty much half the leagues he's already taken. What's up?
We called him last week?
I think we called him 2 weeks ago and he did bad, but he bounced back. And I did not expect, the Chargers have been I mean, according to the statistics, Chargers have been good at stopping teams from getting kicks on them. But McLaughlin, I mean, if you held strong because he had a bad week the week before, that offense moves. When an offense like moves the ball like that a lot, you want the kicker on that team. He ended up with 18 fantasy points. Against the Chargers. So, I mean, if you can get him this week, they played Dallas week 16 and then Carolina week 17. Both good matchups for kickers. The Bucs are still playing for wins. Mike Evans is still playing for that record, to break that record. So they're going to keep moving the ball up the field a lot. And he's going to have a lot of chances to kick the field goal.
Yep.
Next on the list, Brandon McManus, roster in 20% of leagues. Another offense that moves the ball a lot. Played well this week. He has, I think, the matchup this week. They're playing the Saints. Okay. And honestly, the Saints defense was playing really good. They had like 8 sacks against Washington.
Oh, yeah. They were solid.
They're playing solid. So the Packers will be able to move the ball up the field, but I think if they can stop the
Green Bay,
stop them from getting into the end zone, that they can get some kicks in, and hopefully he can score you some decent fantasy.
As crazy as may sound, this might be my waiver wire pickup of the week. Is Brandon
McManus? Really?
Because right now I'm running Jake Bates and Dan Campbell, very aggressive, so I don't want that right now.
Okay. Yeah. You think Jake Bates has been solid, man. I think he's held strong with Jake Bates.
He has. I don't know.
My waiver wire pickup this week is going to be Chad Ryland, the kicker from the Arizona Cardinals, who's only rostered in 5% of leagues. Gets the Panthers this week. I might have to take that back. I don't know if I trust anyone on the Cardinals anymore, besides maybe McBride. But yeah, and James Conner. But yeah, Chad Ryland, rostered in 5% of leagues. They do get Carolina this week.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be trying to move the ball up the field, but, Kyler Murray can't do anything and can't score any touchdowns, and he'll never throw a touchdown to McBride because that's, not allowed. So they're never going to get in the end zone. So it's just going to be all field goals.
I'm just saying, though, if you're in the semifinals now, your chance is a lot higher of a McBride tutty. At some point,
McBride's not scoring a touchdown this year. I'm saying, look, there's only 2 weeks left. I'm taking my chances. He hasn't scored all year. I'm guessing he's going to continue that trend.
But he's not scoring. He's dropped like low to mid double digits each week without a touchdown. If he gets a touchdown, he's a 20-point player, and you might need that.
He's not getting it. No. They need to keep. They keep trying so hard to scheme up plays
for McBride
to get Marvin Harrison in the end zone. Every time the end zone targets are just Marvin Harrison, or they just force feed with James Conner and just run the ball in, or they give it to some like the other Trey Benson or DeMercado, like
Greg Dortch.
What? Yeah, they have Greg Dortch run it up or something. It's such a. They need to fix that offense, but I'm not going to stand here and talk about that. I can talk forever. Anyways, we give you guys information. Chase McLaughlin, very good option. Brandon McManus from the Packers, also a great option. Chad Ryland, if you're feeling dangerous, rostered in 5% of leagues. The Cardinals are just not good at getting in the end zone. They need to figure something out. So they'll have a lot of opportunities to kick the ball.
Yeah, and I think Cardinals play the Panthers next week too, so that could be a really good matchup.
Yeah, that's right. We mentioned that. But that about does it for the episode. Anything else you want to call out, BUTB?
That is it, man. Best of luck to you guys. Hopefully, guys, you won your week this previous week, and hopefully this next week you guys went out in the semifinals, man.
Yeah, best of luck to you all. Good luck with your waiver claims. Hopefully you don't need any of these guys and you're good. Your team is set. But if you do, hope you get these guys that you need. And hope you guys win your week 16s. So we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.